Good morning, everyone. I'm Sister Avery, and this is my helper, Z. And this morning, we're going to do a quick announcement. Parents, for any of you that have children within this age group, even older, if they are memorizing the memory verse, our recipe to remember each week, then please send us a video or a short clip of your child quoting the verse so that we can put them in for the drawing each week. With that being said, we're going to do Sunday school a little bit differently today. Instead of our wonderful cake creations that we have done throughout the other weeks, we are going to do a story instead. So that being said, sit tight and join us in The Baker's Apprentice. Thank you. Could you hold those for me?
Yep.
All right. Not so long ago lived a baker and his 2 children. His daughter's name was Betty and his son was named Duncan. Betty enjoyed decorating cakes, and Duncan loved to help bake. Well, he tried. One day, Duncan had a thought. I am such a good baker. I could open my own bakery. Why stay here when I could be my own boss?
That does not sound like a good idea again.
Duncan spoke with his father and showed him his blueprints and told him about his ideas, his blueprints for a bakery.
There you go.
Then Duncan asked his father for his half of Grandma's recipes. They were the most important part of his new bakery. With a heavy heart, his father gave him the recipes, utensils, their homemade vanilla, and a cashier's check to cover the cost of the building permits. Soon, Duncan's bakery was open. The cakes and pastries were so popular that Duncan had to hire outside help. It all went well at first. Okay. Then the employees started taking treats without paying, and they used all of the supplies for themselves. Oh no!
Yep. Oh no!
When Duncan told them that they had to stop, they quit. I don't need them, said Duncan. I can do this myself. I don't need anyone. Duncan tried very hard to keep up with orders, but the day came when Duncan had to close the bakery. He had sold everything. He had even sold his half of his grandmother's recipes. All was lost. With the clothes on his back and a broken heart, he looked for a new place to work. He couldn't go home, not without those recipes. What a disappointment he had turned out to be. What? You did what? I'm disappointed. Oh my goodness, have you ever felt that?
I can see it stinky poop.
Duncan was turned away from every job except for one at the local dairy. Pooper scooper!
Oh, what the
Ew,
cows
the cow farted. It was never like this at his dad's house. That's it. I'm going home. Duncan took the little bit of money that he had and he's headed home. Look at that. He doesn't have much money, does he?
Yeah, he doesn't.
Well, 2 Ubers and a Lyft later, Duncan finally made it back to his father's. He was finally home. Turn right on exit 265. A whirlwind of emotions overcame him. He had failed. He lost everything. How could he return home so broken, confused, overwhelmed? He was not worthy to come back. All the questions he has in his mind. Is there? How? What if? Could I? Welcome back home, son. That voice. Could it really be? Could it really be my dad? Thought Duncan. Duncan hesitated for just a moment. He pushed aside every thought, doubt, every doubt and question. He turned slowly. "Dad!" yelled Duncan. He ran into his father's arms. There was nowhere he would rather be.
Where's the tunnel?
Duncan never forgot the love his father showed that day. No mistake, downfall, or shortcoming could ever cause his love to waver. Nothing. Look at him. He messed up again, put all sorts of flour in the bowl. All right.
That mistake.
And how about you? Have you ever felt that way? That maybe there's a mistake that has just been so big, or maybe something that happened that it keeps you from believing that you are actually worthy of God's love or God's forgiveness? That's okay, because our little story is about the prodigal son in the Bible. It's our own version. But it shows a father's love, and God is our father. And a good father will always love his children regardless of the mistakes that they make. And that's what Jesus does for us. Regardless of any mistake that we make, Jesus still loves us and is willing to forgive us. As long as we come to him and tell him, look, I messed up. I made a big mistake, or I don't know what it is that I need to do. That's okay. God is here with open arms, regardless of the path that you've decided to take. He will always welcome you back home with open arms. And that brings us to our recipe to remember.
What if your mom and dad ground you? That's okay.
That's true. We still love you. And our recipe to remember is, the Lord is gracious and full of compassion, slow to anger, and great in mercy. Psalms chapter 145 and verse 8. Join us again next Sunday for our lesson. We don't know what we're doing just yet, but we'd be more than happy to have you. Everyone have a great Sunday. Remember, Jesus loves you regardless of your mistakes, and we do too. Goodbye.